How about you guys start us off with quick intros? Introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And what brought you to Grow?
I'm Michelle. I'm the director of social ColourPop. What brought me to Grow is I'm a client of Lumanu, and we got talking about how I use different products in my tech stack to be really efficient and to solve problems in not just like the marketing funnel, but productivity and working collaboratively with different departments. And Lumano has been a really great partner and really receptive to my feedback and product updates that just helped me to be really efficient, not just with my own workflow, but also for my creators who are really important partners to my day-to-day.
I'm Tony, co-founder and CEO of Lumani. We launched our payments product in 2020, which then we started learning about net payment terms and all these other things that jeopardizes relationships that marketers spend a long time building. Sometimes finance isn't always the fastest to turn around payments. And then that's where we are. One thing Michelle and I see eye to eye on is the importance of relationships, especially in today's world, right, where people like working with who they like. And if you want to see better results, it pays to treat creators right.
Totally. Michelle, you have experience both on the agency and the brand side. I'm curious how that has led to the way that you treat creator marketing being at ColourPop.
I myself was a creator. I was shooting content, doing art direction and photography. And so all of that kind of combined with social marketing, I realized social media really needs like workflows, and also creators really need an easy way to work with the brand. It can't be one way, because when you work with creators, it's actually a collaboration. Tony said creators want to work with people that they like, who they respect, and they'll do more. They'll give you extended usage rights. They'll give you discounted rates. So like, you are not only representing a brand, you have your own brand, personal brand. They know that, hey, if I move to a different brand, I know Michelle always pays me on time. I know that she's really easy with her briefs, or she will give me detailed instructions. She's super easy to work with, and they'll be more amenable to working with me on like a 3-day turnaround, which is really hard to do.
And I'm curious, you've got a lean team, right, on the social side. So what's your tech stack to help you automate and make sure that you get everything done?
Yeah, I love Notion, and it's funny because people call me like, you're a tech bro, Michelle, but it's really the best tool I've used. I've used Trello, I've used Jira, and when you're working with creators, you need a tool that's really easy, user-friendly, without adding costs to seats. So I use Notion for not only project management, but as a collaborative tool for creators to upload their content. With each database that I work with, it's like a Kanban board. They know exactly what stage their brief is. We work on 120 pieces of content a month, and it's always rotating. We have many product launches, and it has to always be a moving, living cycle. So they know when their product has been sent for a shipment. They know when something needs to be delivered. They get an automatic due date, and it's an app. So they're creating content on their phone, because it's UGC, and it's really easy for them to just literally embed a video, or even on their desktop, drag and drop. Because other platforms, like you have to deal with Dropbox, and then on the brand side, you have to then download the asset, make sure you label it for sharing purposes, and it's really easy for us to just create tags to share with other departments.
Totally. And Lumanu also in your tech stack. Why did you choose Lumanu for creator management and payouts?
Yeah, I was grandfathered in, and I didn't really understand the platform until 3 months in my role. It's really easy because AP, finance, always takes forever. And in a way, I can premeditate exactly how much budget I'm going to be spending monthly. And Lumano recently onboarded us onto a new function of having projects. So I can start segregating, I have a budget for this campaign, and then I can actually bring in invoices into these specific projects. So it makes my tech stack very easy. I can do all my budgeting there.
Got it. Tony, can you walk us through the evolution of Lumanu since 2017 and where it is now?
Yeah, for sure. We noticed the creative ways that they were charging. It wasn't always just paid up front. Sometimes it's percentage of ad spend. It's a la carte usage rights. And then you had Spark ads, TikTok ads. And we just learned that the traditional way that finance did it, which is every payment had to have an invoice, and bigger companies you need POs, just didn't really work. And PayPal and Venmo weren't great because it was terrible for accounting. So there's just all these drawbacks. So we developed payments. And then when we launched a creator app, to Michelle's point, one thing I tell my team is the creator space is very much a multiplayer space, and we felt like a lot of the existing solutions, whether it's Bill.com or PayPal, was a single-player solution. You really have to think about the other side of the game. And if you're a lean team, treating creators as an extension of your team by thinking of them as product users and not just as an afterthought, saves everyone a lot of time. So that's when we built out payments. And one of the big things we did was actually this feature called Instant Pay. So to Michelle's point, I remember talking to her like, asking a creator to turn around and edit in 24 hours, yet you're telling them, I'm going to pay you in 60 days, breaks some fundamental human psyche. And we actually saw that when you tell creators, hey, Lumanu will pay you as soon as you finish your work, finance will pay them later. It allows you to get those really quick edit turnarounds or last minute changes, or can I fly you out to a photo shoot? And that's when we started really seeing payments is not just a thing you do at the end, but it's actually something you can rope in at the very beginning to make the relationship and collaboration go better.
I'm curious, Michelle, as you work with creators, where does Lumanu fit into that relationship or that journey of working with a creator?
It starts from when we sign a creator on. We say, hey, go sign up at Lumanu. Here's your link. If we have a video that we're like, hey, we're restocking this product, we lost usage rights, we want to extend it, and it's immediately done. And for all other creatives, we're net 30, which I think creators really enjoy. For us, net 30 isn't end of the month. It's as soon as we receive your deliverable, you will get paid in 30 days. So a lot of creators just really enjoy knowing that they have financial stability. They know they will get paid. They know that we are very reliable. There are very few instances where we're late with payments, which makes our relationship with them so strong.
And how has that also impacted the relationships with the creators? Because I know, as you were saying earlier, working with YouTubers or content creators, the more you can make it easier for them, the more they want to continue working together.
So we've actually started to onboard creators as retainers. You'll get X amount for X amount of deliverables each month. And we have perpetuity in usage and in content, which is always a struggle in content marketing because you want to be able to use the asset anywhere without having to question what the usage is. So they get signed on as a retainer and they're like, okay, great, I know I'm going to have money coming in. And they're also very open to having lowered rates because they already know they can depend on the retainer. So if I add on a separate asset, they're like, okay, great, it'll be like 10% off or whatnot.
Yeah, I feel the guaranteed is a mental thing for creators. They don't have stable incomes, so knowing it's coming is huge. I'm curious, like from a creator, working with creators, has using Lumanu enabled you to add a ton more creators to your roster that you work with on a monthly basis?
Yeah, because we don't have to do the back and forth with, hey, submit your invoice, we need to get your W form. Yeah, we don't have to get all of that filled out, pass it off to finance. It's all in Lumanu, which is super easy. We literally just have an email blurb that we're like, this is a link, submit it, and it's very easy for them. They're great. We don't need to worry about following up.
Tony, on average, when you start working with somebody to, let's say, 6 months in, do you see a big increase in brands being able to bring on more creators?
We do, and what's really interesting a lot of times is it's a very collaborative effort with the brands we work with. So it starts off at ColourPop, the social team, the creator team. We were just talking backstage about affiliate. One of the things we notice, especially in the beauty space or any brand that has an affiliate program, I think someone earlier talked about how it's not, a lot of creators are driving better ROAS, lower CPAs, but it's hard to attribute with last click attribution. So we actually work with our partners to come up with creative incentive programs. Maybe you have a pool of money that you can divvy out to creators based on some top of funnel metrics that correlate with downstream better ROAS. We were also talking like landing pages. One of the undervalued things in today's landscape is after people click on an ad, where do they go? A lot of times, if you click on a creator ad or a creator post, you want to take them to a landing page that is creator heavy or creator front and centered. You can actually pay creators on an affiliate based on the views that page gets, even if that page gets views from other traffic sources as well. So we notice that when you introduce those additional compensation models, the number of creators you work with increases because now you're not paying 2K, 3K per pop. Some creators you can pay 100 plus residuals, right? And those creative compensation models allows you to work with way more creators. Someone once told me, it's like picking stock. You don't really know always ahead of time who's going to really perform, but the more bets you make, the better the chance that you're going to get a winner.
Totally. Speaking of metrics, Michelle, I'm curious what kind of metrics you look for with creator posts. If they're not, assuming these are not paid media running or whitelisted posts, how do you judge if a collaborative campaign was successful and what do you look for?
Yeah, so it's a little bit different because for us at ColourPop, we're very built out. Everything on social is for organic and it trickles down to paid ads. It goes into emails, PDPs, and our influencer team who also uses Lumanu, they definitely track EMV. And I see exactly what they're tracking and how they're tracking it. and they're very good about projecting, okay, this group of influencers are going to drive this much for their brand, and they have that goal. For social, it's a mix because we have to support all these different legs of the business. Sometimes I am trying to get content that is specifically meant to convert. Sometimes I'm trying to get content that just is what the brand needs, because no matter what, like when you're in-house, you can't just always think what the customer wants. Sometimes you have these brand ideals and aesthetics that you have to hit. But majority of the time, it's what our consumers want, like what our community wants. I think someone said it earlier, content, you have to create your content for your community, or else it's just gonna fall flat on your face. Unless you're like a very legacy, like you have such strong branding that people come to you for your branding, you actually have to create for your community, and it's always changing. Like sometimes you're gonna want tutorials. Sometimes they just don't want to be sold. There's no real formula. You just have to guess what they want.
Do you find that certain creators are best for educational type content, certain are best for promoting sales or promotions, things like that?
Whenever we have a campaign, we look at, okay, we want to get content that some speaking heads. We know we need tutorials. We know we need macros. And I've created an internal CRM where I can actually filter for those specific niches. So then when I create my briefs and when I'm choosing who I want to pay, I can be like, okay, I want to do 10 creators that are macros, or I need to do 20 that are talking head tutorials. And so that's how we project and do our budgeting.
Tony, I feel like creators are just getting more and more. I think 50% of Gen Z identifies as a creator now, or identifies as something. But
I thought you were Gen Z, wouldn't you know?
yeah, technically I am. I don't identify as Gen Z. Where else do you think Lumanu fits into that creator org or that creator journey as you guys continue to grow?
So one thing that I noticed was really interesting. We've noticed this term partnerships being tossed around quite a bit, but as the teams that originally work with influencers and creators grow, we've noticed that many different people can be considered creators, even if you don't think about it at first glance. We have a lot of fitness brands, for instance, that partner with local gyms, food and beverage brands that partner with local businesses like bars and clubs. And a lot of the techniques, even whitelisting, even these type of affiliate models or pay for performance that you traditionally would think for a TikToker or an Instagram or a YouTuber actually also work within real life partnerships. I think one of our other clients, Farmer's Dog, does a lot of partnerships with local dog walkers. So I think that is, and I know it's a little bit, a mentor told me a long time ago, relationships are the only thing that's recession proof. And now I tell my nieces and nephews, relationships are also the only thing that's AI proof, because I don't think machines will ever take over that part. But the more relationships that you can build with not just your traditional influencers and creators, but in real life creators, your community, if you will, I think that's where Lumanu is going. And we've noticed there's just so many, we have dermatologists and vets getting paid through Lumanu, which is really exciting to see. Photographers who are not only freelancers, but are also promoting cameras and doing tutorials and things like that.
And with ColourPop, I feel like you're one of the biggest beauty brands on social. You have almost 10 million followers on Instagram, which is insane. Where do you see the future of working with creators or collaborating with creators or putting out content in a way that's creator friendly or driven by creators?
I think Tony said something that's really spot on. Anyone can literally be a creator, a video go viral, and it's just someone who's just a customer and they just really love the product. I can literally reach out to them, be like, hey, I want to whitelist your video. So I would sign them on Lumanu, pay them out, or I'd be like, hey, I actually think because your social audience, which you don't have one, but people have just seen your viral video, if I have you create another video and pay you to do this, people know it's actually real. It's not some fake or whitelisted person who you have no idea who they are. Like they know they're a genuine fan, and then they become a creator, and people know them for loving your brand.
Tony, do you feel the same way?
I do. Yeah, I do. And I think it's one of the cool things that sometimes I look at our data, I see the Instagram accounts or the YouTube accounts or the TikTok accounts, and it amazes me the diversity of the types of creators and everything that you're seeing now. And I think, like Michelle said, it's probably because a lot of brands are treating their customers and their users as creators. You just never know where they come from. So it pays to keep an open mind and to have that data, and then to have the resources to reach out and manage those relationships.
Yeah, I also feel like the best content is created by just genuine customers or genuine reactions. Okay, if you were a brand that is scaling from 10 to 50 million, and you were to give them some advice on how to either get started on creator marketing or to continue expand their creator program, what would you say?
That's a good question. I would think, I think someone else said it, figure out what your objective is. Are you trying to create content to sell? Or are you trying to create content that's going to resonate with your community? Or are you trying to create content that is about brand building? Once you figure out your objectives, what you're trying to do with your content, then you can lean into, okay, I know that I have a really strong brand ethos that I need to support. And so you need an in-house person. Or if you know that you need educators, so you're going to go find a dermatologist to speak to all the technical stuff that customers don't know. So figure out first what your goal is, and then you can start like budgeting out like to support those goals.
And Tony, from your standpoint, how would you offer advice to brands that are looking to grow their creator programs?
I think one thing is really treating them like an extension of your team. Make life easier on yourself. If you give them the tools so that they manage themselves, so that they can turn around things quickly, so that they're not bothering you about payment issues and things like that. Don't waste time on all the operational, like back paperwork stuff, and just focus on the creatives. That's how you get those really good relationships. And again, no one has a crystal ball. We've seen folks, and like you and I have seen, like the creative that ends up doing the best, you don't always know that ahead of time. It doesn't look like it should, but it just kills it. So you just need to have more shots on goal. And the easier each shot is in terms of time, energy, money, the more chances you have of something really blowing up. So yeah, give yourself more shots.
Amazing. Thank you both.